Tonight, Oswego residents look forward to a new indoor water park.
A tentative deal is made to end the General Motors protest.
And a traveling preacher draws crowds on campus.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Matt Green.
And I'm Brianna Lynn.
Today on SUNY Oswego's campus, an open-air street preacher who calls himself Saint Jesse came to, quote, inspire his Christian values and perspectives. Jesse Morrell and his family have preached to 130 college campuses across the country since 2005. Students gathered around Hewitt Quad to listen. Cinema professor Amy Shore tried to calm tensions by suggesting students be equally as loud.
Morrell came to SUNY Oswego 14 years ago to promote the same biblical agenda. Campus police were called to the scene to escort Morrell and his family off campus because they did not obtain a free speech permit. Morrell then tried to obtain the permit from Campus Life. WTOP 10 had the chance to ask Morrell a few questions today.
Well, universities are the marketplace of ideas, and so I'm here to share Christian values. A big topic in our culture is transgenderism, so I wanted to share a biblical perspective on that issue. I think I should be able just to walk onto a campus like this and preach if there's no events going on. I think that would be the ideal. Overall, that little 20 minutes was pretty good. Some students were asking questions and I was able to give answers, but then other people were cussing me out, and I think we could do without that.
Oswego Common Council approved the West Seneca Street Bikeway project after 3 years of planning. Port City officials say the Bikeway project will create a better physical connection between SUNY Oswego and downtown. According to Port City officials, it will improve traffic conditions and create more visual appeal within the area. Mayor Billy Barlow says, quote, we really need to focus on accommodating pedestrians and recreational neighborhood activity, just the same way we've accommodated vehicular traffic over the last 30 years.
Award-winning public speaker Christina Irene is heading to Oswego, where she will help students understand more about social issues. The event is called Empowerment Through Verse and will discuss gender violence and sexual assault. It is happening tomorrow at 6 p.m. in the Marano Campus Center, room 114. Title IX coordinator of the event, Lisa Evaneski, hopes that students will be motivated to showcase their voices on these issues.
I think we also want them to walk away knowing they have a voice. They have the ability to speak up about things that have happened to them. And if this gives them the motivation or the courage to do so, then I think it would be a very successful event.
Nice.
Looks like Oswego students will be kept busy as the new indoor water park is on the way in town. Evan Flannery goes downtown to tell us more.
Oswego residents prepare for a boost in tourism as the construction of a new indoor water park starts up next to the bridge, aside from the Quality Inn and Suites. After receiving $10 million for a downtown revitalization, Oswego has numerous projects set up to spruce up the town.
It would definitely reel in a lot of people. I love indoor water parks, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people do too. And since it's indoor, people could go any time of the year, not just the summertime. So it will attract a lot of people. I would definitely go any time of the season, no matter what it is. Definitely Christmas time too, when it gets cold, the snow is up here, the wind. I would definitely love to be in an indoor water park.
It seems like this water park will be a great addition to the town of Oswego, and especially for the water bugs who will still enjoy a good swim in the freezing Oswego winters. Residents should prepare their bathing suits and water shoes for the opening, which should be determined soon. Other projects included updating the Riverwalk and renovating the Children's Museum of Oswego. This is Evan Flannery reporting from downtown Oswego. Now back to the studio.
It is estimated the water park will cost $4.5 million.
The Empire Brewing Company in downtown Syracuse abruptly closed this morning after defaulting on rent payments. According to building owner Jeffrey Apal of Armory Boys LLC, Empire has not paid $1 in rent in 3 months despite making infrastructure improvements. Empire Brewing owner David Kodleski says he's trying to work out a resolution with the landlords and claims they attempted to raise their rent in a negotiation. The building owners denied this claim.
A California Lyft driver thought that she was just picking up a regular passenger, but it turned out to be a hit-and-run suspect. Ryan Hills spoke to the driver to learn how she found out her passenger was actually wanted by police.
The guy seemed kind of anxious. You know, he seemed like desperate to go home.
Marisa Rulas says that she drove past Stockton police investigating a hit and run at Lever Boulevard and Hawaii Avenue on her way to pick up a rider. But she says she had no idea the man who got in her car was a suspect wanted by police. She quickly found out when she was stopped by officers just a few minutes later.
Once I got pulled over and how he was acting, I kind of already knew, like, obviously they're looking for him.
Police tell CBS 13 that investigators heard the suspect involved in the crash had been picked up by Rulas, fleeing the scene.
The minute we drove off from that house, he was done for.
Police say Michael Magdaleno and Colissa Roots were arrested on suspicion of hit and run. A spokesperson with Stockton PD says that this is the first time he's ever heard of anything like this happening.
I don't know what was going through his mind. I don't know how desperate he was, so I don't know what he was willing to do once we got away from that area.
Rulas says she'll still be taking on riders.
It's just like any other job, you know, you have a risk and all kinds of stuff. I mean, you could work at a liquor store and somebody come in and rob you.
And she'll have the tale of this ride to keep her passengers entertained.
Now I got a story to tell and my rides won't be so quiet.
Stockton police will say now they'll be paying special attention to any other possible suspects calling a Lyft or a Uber to leave a crime scene.
Price Chopper and 32 market stores are recalling a number of cheese products manufactured by Great Lakes Cheese due to concerns that they may contain metal on the surface. The stores said a variety of white and yellow cheeses under the Market 32 label are affected. Price Chopper and Market 32 have already removed all recalled items from stores. Customers can return any of these products they have purchased to local stores for a full refund. For more information, customers can visit www.greatlakescheese.com.
Last night marked the 10th NYPD officer that has died by suicide this year. The 33-year-old NYPD sergeant died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound and was pronounced dead at Jamaica Hospital in Queens at 10 p.m. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio says in a tweet this morning, quote, "We've now lost 10 members of the NYPD to suicide this year. We'll stop at nothing to end this crisis. If you or someone you know needs help, please reach out. Your city is here for you. Please keep this good man, his family, and the NYPD in your hearts today. If you or someone you know who has thoughts of suicide, call the Suicide Prevention Line at 1-800-273-8255.
An October storm is impacting the Northeast and rapidly intensifying into a bomb cyclone. Winds could reach up to 40 miles per hour and could potentially cut power to thousands of people until Friday. Urban flooding is another concern, with rain amounts reaching up to 6 inches. This is the second storm to majorly impact the Northeast within a week. Expect flight delays and cancellation Thursday and Friday as the storm moves off the coast. Coming up later tonight, Senator Kamala Harris calls to suspend Donald Trump's Twitter account.
And politicians are requesting an investigation into police brutality in Hong Kong.
Now let's take a quick look at the weather with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Jessica Metzger.
Thanks, guys. Looking at our temperatures right now, they are somewhere between the high 40s and low 50s, which is seasonal for this time of year. And as mentioned before, we are under a pretty big storm right now. There are going to be plenty of rain showers coming our way. Speaking of tonight, we are expected to have lots of heavy rain, a temperature of 52 degrees, and winds from the south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Not the best night of them all. And tomorrow, it's not looking that great either. We are expected to have a lot of windy rain, 53 degrees, and winds from the northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour. But I'll talk more about that later on after the break.
I had a huge whistle.
Welcome back. You're watching WTOP 10, Storm Team 10. My name is meteorologist Jess Spencer, and did somebody ask for a lot of rain? Because that's what we have here. Look at all of these dark greens, a couple of yellows, and even a few patches of reds down to our south. But for our area, we're just going to focus on the dark greens and the yellows. That's indicative of moderate rainfall. And just to show you what the temperatures are looking like right now, we are somewhere between the high 40s and the low 50s, which is seasonal for this time of year. But it is going to feel a bit cooler because of all this rain that's coming our way. Just to show you where all the rain is going, for tonight it's looking like moderate rainfall, maybe lightening up as we go on into Thursday morning. But as we go on into Thursday afternoon, early morning, the rain has picked up a little more, and as you see over to the east, we might even have some snow showers, but that's not going to be in our area. Going on into Thursday evening, the rain should start to lighten up, but as we can see, no breaks at all. We are actually under a hazard of weather outlook issued by the National Weather Service. They released a statement because they were concerned of areas with poor drainage that they may be flooded, and that's because the rain's just not going to stop. And as we go into Friday morning, the rain should have passed by, but plenty of clouds for the morning, but they should be breaking up as we go into Friday afternoon. The wind is a completely different story. Looking over on Lake Ontario, 33-mile-per-hour winds in Williamson, 24-mile-per-hour winds in Oswego just for Thursday morning, and the winds are not dying at all. 30-mile-per-hour winds for Thursday evening, so if you do have to go outside, please be careful. Don't even bring the umbrella. Bring a rain jacket. Going on into Friday, the wind's dying down a little bit, but not by much, and they should weaken a little bit more by Friday evening. 14-mile-per-hour winds here in Oswego. We are expected to get around an inch of rainfall here in Oswego, half-inch, but as we go into Harrisburg and Lowville, over 2 inches of rain. So they have the lighter winds, but they get the heavier rain. We have less rain, but lots of wind, so it's a trade-off. Just a recap of tonight: rain, 52 degrees, and winds from the south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, windy, rain, 53 degrees, northwest winds from 15 to 20 miles per hour. Don't bring the umbrella, bring the rain jacket. Looking in our week ahead, Thursday and Friday are looking a little yucky. Saturday and Sunday, we might have some sunshine coming our way, looking really pleasant. But Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the rain's going to return for a full swing. You're watching WTOP 10. Coming up next, we have more news and sports.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. After 31 days of protesting, negotiators from General Motors and the United Auto Workers Union have reached a tentative deal. The deal needs the approval of both the union leaders as well as rank-and-file union members at General Motors before it can take effect. The union says it will be deciding at Thursday's meeting whether they should return to work or remain on strike until the rank-and-file ratification vote takes place.
Democratic presidential candidates taking the stage in Westerville, Ohio, in a critical debate that could reshape the race for the nomination. Steve Nans has the highlights.
12 Democratic candidates sharing one stage on Tuesday night with one goal in mind: to make a lasting impression with millions of voters watching at home.
This president, and I agree with Bernie, Senator Sanders, is the most corrupt president in modern history, and I think all of our history.
Also front and center, Senator Elizabeth Warren, whose surge in the polls has put her under the intense spotlight typically reserved for frontrunners.
And I don't understand why you believe the only way to deliver affordable coverage to everybody is to obliterate private plans.
Senator Warren, I've been talking to Americans around the country about automation, and they're smart. She has yet to describe her tax plan.
Healthcare once again a major topic, with candidates sparring over a Medicare for All plan backed by the more progressive candidates or a more moderate approach.
Medicare for All is the gold standard. It is the way we get health care coverage for every single American.
The issue is whether the Democratic Party has the guts to stand up to the healthcare industry.
The focus also on Syria, as candidates took aim at President Trump's decision to pull U.S. forces, allowing Turkey and Russia to move in.
Our president blew it, and now he's too proud to say it. And what do we do now?
And with time running out until the first votes are cast in February, some candidates came out swinging.
When I think about where we are right now in 2020, I do believe justice is on the ballot.
Tearing each other down because we have a different plan, to me, is unacceptable.
We have an erratic, crazy president who knows not a damn thing about foreign policy.
I'm Steve Nannis reporting.
The next Democratic presidential debate will take place on November 20th in the Atlanta area. It will be hosted by MSNBC and The Washington Post.
Senator Kamala Harris defended her call to suspend President Donald Trump's Twitter account today at the 4th Democratic primary presidential debate. She made her first call after the president's tweet regarding the whistleblower complaint in wake of the Ukrainian scandal. In a response to CNN, Harris says, "If you talked with the family members of the people at the receiving end of Donald Trump's remarks on Twitter, you will know that this is not a laughing matter. It is a serious matter, and it is a matter of the safety of these individuals."
A majority of U.S. adults support the impeachment and removal of President Donald Trump from office after recent actions regarding the whistleblower scandal. 52% of Americans are in favor of the impeachment, and the level of support is higher than it was for former presidents Bill Clinton and Richard Nixon. Nearly all of the Democrats are in favor of removing President Donald Trump from office. Trump has been sharply criticizing voter polls that are in favor of his impeachment.
Paul Ryan would never issue a subpoena. I don't say right or wrong. He wouldn't do it. He had too much respect for our country. Nancy Pelosi hands them out like cookies. Everybody, I don't even know these people. For the most part, people like that at testify, I don't even know who they are. I never even heard of some of them, most of them.
A new study published today gives a possible clue in the search for what's causing the dramatic increase in lung injury cases related to vaping and e-cigarette use. This comes as another state announces a new investigation into e-cigarette companies, and the CDC says it's still looking into the issue. Kelly Smoot has the very latest in this report from Washington.
We are not waiting for the federal government to get its act together.
Florida becoming the latest state to announce it is looking into potential problems with e-cigarettes and vaping companies.
Today I am announcing an expansive investigation of over 20 vaping companies doing business in the state of Florida.
Taking a different approach than Missouri Governor Mike Parson, who announced a statewide campaign Tuesday to discourage youth vaping.
This is truly an epidemic, and we must take action to protect the young people of our state.
But all trying to find ways to reduce the use of e-cigarettes and vaping devices among young people.
Nicotine has created a culture of addicted teens.
This, as the principal deputy director of the Centers for Disease Control testified on Capitol Hill that its investigation into serious lung illness continues around the clock.
What we know so far about this epidemic is that it's striking young people.
Saying that more than half the cases of serious lung disease that have been reported to the CDC are among those under the age of 25.
No single product, brand, substance, or additive has been identified in all cases so far.
A new study released today in the journal Cancer Prevention Research suggests a possible connection between the chemicals propylene glycol and glycerin and increased inflammation of the lungs. But researchers acknowledge that more research needs to be done. In Washington, I'm Kelly Smoot.
The CDC recommends that people stop using e-cigarettes or other vaping products that contain THC immediately.
Barcelona has been impacted by many violent protests over the imprisonment of 9 Catalan independence leaders. The leaders have received prison sentences between 9 and 13 years for their part of the failed 2017 attempt to split from Spain. 3 other defendants were found guilty of disobedience and were fined and banned from public office for 20 months. The protests have impacted Barcelona by causing many road closures and airport delays.
Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam's annual policy address ended in chaos. Pro-democracy lawmakers kept disrupting Lam's speech and heckled her with calls on the demands for month-long government protests. Lam addressed the government to continue to stop the violence from occurring through policy action. Protests over the bill have grown violent, with many protesters throwing petrol bombs and bricks. Police showed up with tear gas and water cannons pointed at the protesters. Politicians are calling for an investigation into police brutality. Coming up in sports, Zachary Mash. Zach?
Can you give us a quick preview, Zach?
After the break, we'll talk field hockey and a big trade that went down in the NFL. Welcome back to WTOP 10 News. I'm Zach Mash, and this is your sports update. On the ice this week, the Oswego State men's hockey team begins its much-anticipated 2019-20 slate with a preseason game against the Carleton Place Canadians of the Central Canadian Hockey League. These two teams faced off last year in an exhibition as well, with the Canadians taking that one 5-3. It's Tealgate at the Mariano Campus Center, so make sure to wear some teal to help raise awareness for ovarian cancer. The Oswego State field hockey team was in action on Tuesday night, falling in overtime for the second game in a row to Nazareth by a score of 3-2. Sophomore Alyssa DeMichael scored the first goal for the Lakers, and later junior Kathleen Little tied the game at 2 with less than 9 minutes remaining. Unfortunately, the deciding goal was put in the net by Nazareth just over 6 minutes into overtime. The Nationals clinched their first World Series appearance in team history on Monday as they completed the sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals 7-4. Shortstop Trey Turner and catcher Yan Gomes each had a pair of runs batted in for Washington. Howie Kendrick was named the MVP of the series after hitting .333 with 4 doubles. They will take on the winner of the Yankees-Astros series in the Fall Classic. Big-time news came down in the NFL on Monday night as Jacksonville Jaguars All-Pro cornerback Jalen Ramsey was traded to the Los Angeles Rams for 2 first-round picks and a 4th-round pick. Ramsey recently had a run-in with Jaguars head coach Doug Marrone and made a trade request just a couple weeks ago. The move was made to replace fellow former Pro Bowl cornerback Marcus Peters, who was traded to the Baltimore Ravens earlier in the day. From the gridiron back to the diamond today, the Yankees were facing the Astros in Game 3 of the ALCS at Yankee Stadium. Jose Altuve gets the Astros started early with a long home run into left center field bullpen, 420 feet off of Luis Severino, giving the Astros a 1-0 lead. The Astros were not done, however. Josh Reddick takes another hanging slider from Severino into the second deck in right field. This one makes it 2-0. That's Reddick's first home run of the postseason and gave the Astros a 2-0 lead. Garrett Cole had a brilliant night on the mound. He just finishes his 7th shutout inning of the night, continuing his Cy Young-worthy campaign. Gleyber Torres tries to start a comeback for New York as he drills a solo home run into the short porch in right field. That one made it 4-1. Gleyber Torres is on fire. That's his 3rd home run of the postseason. Unfortunately for the Yankees, though, this was not enough as DJ LeMahieu grounds out to third baseman Alex Bregman to end the game. The Yankees now trail the series 2-1, and they've dropped the last 2.
Yeah, I gotta say, Zach, I mean, this ALCS has been interesting to me. Obviously, I've been watching as a Yankees fan, but dropping 2 games in a row, it was depressing. Is there any hope for the Bronx Bombers, you think?
I think so. I think they got hope. They just got to pitch better, and they got to get some timely hits.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
And what about for the weather this weekend? What do we have coming up?
Coming up, we have a little bit of rain. Definitely for tomorrow, it's going to be windy, it's going to be rainy, it's going to be a mess. Friday, it should be clearing up. Saturday and Sunday, we should be seeing some sunshine coming our way, but as we can see, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, those pesky showers are looking like they're going to be sticking around. So bring the umbrella if you can.
Yes, I'll be sure to.
Of course. And it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Funny story, I lost my pink ribbon that I was going to wear today, so unfortunately I'm the odd one out here. But, you know, as you can tell, everybody but me at this desk is wearing pink for breast cancer awareness.
But you still support breast cancer awareness.
I do. I wholeheartedly support it, honestly.
He's wearing pink, but you just can't see it.
Yeah, it's underneath everything, you could say, you know. Yeah. But I got to say, it's a good cause. And it's really important. Great cause. So that's our report for tonight. So be sure to stay tuned for soup spoons and shrimp forks.
Thank you for watching. Have a great night, everyone.